I've lived on Cedar Lake for going on 30 years now. When my wife, Linda, and the first bought our little slice of waterfront haven, the deck was already set in old wooden zinc with peeling paint and the boards that creaked like they were telling lake stories of their own. Over the years, I rebuilt it board by board, replacing every plank and the handrail myself. The deck has seen my grandkids learn to fish, my old Labrador leap into the water like a free cannonball, and the more sunsets than I can count. So imagine my surprise when, after all those years, the NUHA board decided they suddenly had some kind of authority over it. It started with a letter. Hosts never send get news in letters, only warnings, fines, or something that ruins your morning coffee. This one claimed that my deck was encroaching on communal shoreline and they demanded I remove it immediately or face penalties. I just stared at the page. Communal shoreline? Since when? My first thought was that someone on the new board had too much free time and too little common sense. My second thought was that he wasn't about to let anyone bully me off my own property. He walked down to the lake, letter in hand, and he looked at the dead sturdy, soon warmed, peaceful. Nothing about it had changed in decades, but someone in the heart must have wanted to flex their authority. Or maybe they just didn't like dogs. Some people get older and they mellow out. Others get older and they discover the intoxicating power of clipboards and the regulations. The next HOA meeting was packed. He stood up, holding the letter. Can someone explain? He sighed. How a deck that has been here longer than some of you have been alive suddenly became illegal? A few board members shifted in their seats. Then the president, a tall, stiff fellow named Carol, cleared his throat. We conducted a review of shoreline boundaries, he sighed, sounding very official. Your deck extends into HOA-controlled lake access. Now, I'm usually a patient man, but something about Carlstone rubbed me wrong. Carol, he sighed, for 30 years this deck has been on my property. Unless the lake got up and he walked someplace different, those boundaries haven't moved. He responded with a thin smile. Boundaries aren't always where people think they are. We, translated into plain English, means we don't actually know, we just hope you'll roll over and comply. Well, he wasn't planning on rolling over, so he did what any stubborn, seasoned American homeowner would do. He called the county surveyor. Now, county offices don't usually move quickly, but this time luck was on my side. A gentleman named Tom Granger, who sounded like he'd been doing this job since before the HOA president was born, agreed to come out the following week. When he arrived, he had steel markers, measuring equipment, and the kind of no-nonsense attitude only a man who has spent 40 years walking properties can have. We walked along together while he checked his maps. After about 15 minutes, he tapped his metal stake into the earth and he nodded. Yep, he sighed. Just like you thought. Docks well within your property line. HOA doesn't have a lake to stand on. He must have smiled wider than the lake itself. Would you mind telling the board that? He asked. Oh, I'd be happy to, he sighed. You have never seen an HOA meeting go quiet like it did when County Surveyor Granger walked into that room with his official documents in hand. Carol tried his best to talk circles around him, but Tom wasn't having any of it. You don't know what paperwork you think you have, Tom said plainly. But this one right here falls entirely on Mr. Miller's property. Always has. You could have heard a pin drop. Carol pushed his glasses up his nose and he muttered something about misinterpretations, but the damage was done. The truth had spoken, signed, and stamped itself in official ink. After the meeting, a few neighbors patted me on the back. Even some board members apologized, saying they hadn't known what Carol was up to. He didn't rub it in. No more sense beating a man after he loses. But he did walk down to the deck that evening, sat on the edge with my feet dangling over the water, and he let out a long breath. Victory doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it comes with quiet waves lapping against wood you built with your own hands. And that night the lake looked especially peaceful, as if it, too, was happy everything had been put right. So yes, the HOA tried to take over my deck, but the county surveyor has set them straight in about 10 minutes flat. And the deck, still here, still mine, still home.